conversation. So they're putting you guys kind of through it right now. So, Kobie, you guys were put this on for me real quick. Yeah, you guys were down on the stage together, and now you're up here together. Like, what's it like for you? Like, is this kind of the kickoff of the season? I know you guys are in the weight room. I know you guys are doing stuff, but does it feel like we're just getting incrementally closer to real football stuff?
Yeah, no, I forgot what this was like, being able to come out here in front of everyone and be able to just talk ball and talk about, the successes that we've had last year. I mean, we're excited. We're geared up, ready to go, man. And, yeah, we've been building up to everything, and I think us starting practices this week is the same thing. It's all gearing up towards this is what real football looks like. And, in a couple months we'll be putting on those pads and ready to open up, versus the Texans.
We've talked with a few defensive guys about just the defense last year was ahead of a lot of people's expectations, mine included, particularly when you take into account Aaron Donald retiring. What did you guys expect from yourselves heading into the season, and did you surpass it at all?
Yeah, the only thing that we expected is to come in and put in the quality of work that's going to give us the success that we wanted. And at the end of the day, it's always about the process. We talk about the process with Coach McVay, and, you can't worry about what everyone else thinks. If you get caught up in that, then, you're going to ride the wave and you're going to be too high, too low. But we were just trying to stay steady, stay in that fight, trying to encourage each other on a day-to-day basis to do the right daily habits, to put in the work that's going to ultimately lead to the success that we had. And I think in that way we did meet our expectations as far as, okay, what are we doing as a defense? What are our four core fundamentals? How are we bringing those things to life every single day, whether it be in practice and walkthroughs and jog-throughs, and ultimately how does that show up on Sundays in the games? And that ultimately showed up because we had the process in mind first before the result. And so that's going to be the challenge, and the most important thing for us this upcoming year is obviously we had a really good year as a defense, and we definitely started to come on strong towards the end, and it's about continuing to have that process-oriented mentality and to focus and attack the process each day, and that's going to give us the results that we want.
You mentioned it. Like, the process is the thing. You got to lean into that, and whatever happens is going to happen. If you take care of the process, that's the part you can control. Does it feel a little different going into it this year because the expectations have changed? Like a year ago, it was, hey, let's see what it looks like, and now it's, hey, they're really good.
Yeah, I think for us internally, the expectation was always to take it as far as we could go. But I will say, being able to come back with the group of guys that we have, I mean, even just looking at the defensive front, being able to come back with me, Fis, Verse, BY, and to have that group as a unit be ready to take it to the next level instead of having to figure out, okay, what are we going to do to be able to make up for, what we lost with AD, or what are we going to do to solidify ourselves as a defensive unit. We know exactly who we are now, and so it's about taking that to the next level. And that's really encouraging, too. I mean, I remember coming back a month or two early, and the guys that I saw in there was Fist doing his rehab, First in there getting a lift in, BY getting his lift in. And so it's that core group of guys. Our defensive front, we've been working for a long time, and we have the camaraderie, we have the bond, the cohesion, and we're just excited to be able to put out, what we're going to be able to do this year. And I can't predict anything, but I know that we're gonna go out and we're gonna attack, man, and that's going to be really exciting.
We were just we were just asking Braden about you guys as a group were pretty collectively inexperienced, and leadership has to come from somewhere. You mentioned Quentin as guys who stepped up. What was that process like for you, especially if I wouldn't blame you if you thought, I'm not sure I'm ready for this because I haven't been in the league that long.
Yeah. Honestly, it's weird. There's like this time warp where it's hard for me to process the fact that I've only been in the league for 3 years. And I knew coming into last year that there was some leadership that was missing, obviously with AD leaving, and that I was a person that needed to step in and fill that role. And so throughout time, there's a lot of growing pains throughout the season. I mean, I think of I leaned on Ernest Jones a lot, and it was such a shock for me when he left, and that whole situation. And I remember that next day of practice, it was like, okay, like Ern was the vocal leader. Now it's who is it going to be? And that next day of practice, I took that on myself, and it was like, how am I going to show up to practice? How am I going to be what this defense needs me to be? And ultimately, it was continuing that throughout the course of the season, obviously being able to be voted captain and having that honor given to me by the team to tell me that, they believe in what I can do, and they believe in how I can lead the team. And as the season went on, there are so many growing pains. I think of the Arizona game was obviously one of our worst games of the year, and I think of so many things that I could have done differently leadership-wise, and not even football-wise, but how I interact with guys, how I uplift guys, how I'm going over, and after we have a bad series, how am I picking up the guys and getting our minds directed in the right way. And so that was something that I took up upon myself, and obviously the team deemed me worthy to be able to lead the team, and that was the greatest honor that I'll ever receive, and I'm super excited to continue to use the things that I've learned, to use the ways that I've led, and to continue to see the rest of these guys too. Leadership is not a one-person thing, and everybody's built up together and brings their own little pieces and makes us a unit, and so I'm excited to keep leading that.
Rams defensive tackle Kobie Turner joining us here at Rams Revealed at the YouTube Theater. And Andy and I were watching you up on stage a few minutes ago, and I'll be honest, it kind of bothered me a little bit because I'm thinking, okay, if you get one thing that you're really good at, like, okay, fine, I can deal with that. Like, you're somebody gave you the gifts to be a good enough athlete to play in the NFL. Like, amazing. And then we hear you sing, and it's like, you don't get two things. You can't have two things.
It's frankly gross.
Yeah. It's like
in all honesty.
You can't have two things that you're that good at. Like, do you want to give one of those things to someone else so we can all share in it a little bit?
It's very gauche the way you're hoarding all these skills.
That's hilarious. Man, I love it. The music side keeps me, it keeps me focused. It keeps me locked in. And, I mean, I need that. I can't give that away because the amount of times where I come back and I don't have the practice that I want or I don't have the game that I want, it's like, man, I got to get this out. I got to play my guitar. I got to sing. I got to play the piano, whatever it is. And then
you play all these instruments too?
Yeah, I play a couple of them.
Yeah,
just leave. So, seriously.
How did The Masked Singer come together? I think most people know that you were on The Masked Singer. You did a great job.
I was Goo on Masked Singer season 12. That was a surreal experience.
Did you pitch them or did they come find you?
They came to find me. Okay. And I remember me and my wife were sitting on the couch, and I get a call from my marketing agent, and he's like, "Do you want to be on The Masked Singer?" And we're like, "We've been talking about this for so long. Like, I didn't know it would come after year one, but it did." And we were so excited, and that was another thing too, where I was like, "Okay, I can actually attack this." Like, my first performance was the last day of OTAs, so I'm literally at OTAs, wrap up, having our practice.
Did your teammates know?
No, nobody could really know. Okay. So we had to keep that hush-hush. Yeah. But I would leave there and then, hopped in the car service and went to Hollywood. And now all of a sudden I'm suited up in this big old green costume with big feet and big arms. And I can't even, it was such a surreal moment. But to be able to share the stage with people like Mario, with Boyz II Men, to be able to compete against them. I mean, I remember I had like a battle royale versus Mario. He was the Wasp. And I'm sitting there like, this guy is legit. Like, I know he's either Mario or Neo or, we don't know who each other are.
Who the other guy
we don't know who the other person is.
Okay.
And so I'm up there competing. And once we finally figured out who it was like, not only did I share the stage, but it was a thing where it was like, that was the best battle that we've ever had and this, that, and the other. And it's like, man, like we play Let Me Love You all the time in the locker room or in the weight room. And it's like, I'm up there sharing the stage with that guy, or I'm up there sharing the stage with Boyz II Men. It was such a surreal experience.
I bet.
Musically or vocally, because it turns out you also play instruments on top of the singing.
Of course he does. He probably dances, too. Can you dance?
I don't want to know.
I did a little. So I would love to be on Dancing with the Stars with this all over. I did a little TikTok dance. I sent it to my wife. It was just funny. It was from Wicked, and it blew up. It got like 5.4 million views or something like that.
Well, of course it did.
But I'm not any good. But if I put some time into it, man.
Well, clearly, if you put maybe a minuscule amount of time in it, Kobie, you'd be.
What are you bad at? I need to know. What are you like? Can you?
What am I bad at?
Play golf?
No, I'm not good at golf.
I need one thing to know that you're.
Okay, so I tried out for the basketball team my freshman year, and my coach was a football coach, and he told me, "You're basically going to sit on the bench, so we're just not going to have you on the team because I respect you." And so that's one thing. But I will say I'm a solid role player. I'm the typical hustle, whatever. But my shot is not great.
Who are musically, vocally some of your influences, and are there any that you think might surprise people?
Yeah. So influences, okay. Some influences would be Lizzie McAlpine, which is probably super shocking to people, and Noah Kahan. I love their style of music. I love the way that they're able to communicate their story through just them and the guitar or them and the piano. And that's something that I'm really drawn to. I'm really drawn to their stories, whether it be sad music, happy music. Lizzie has a lot of sad songs, but like I'm a huge Lizzie stan. I know all of her music, and I think that's really the one that would surprise people. But other than that, I mean, I grew up listening to gospel, so that was a big influence for me. That's where I learned kind of how to sing. I grew up singing in church and stuff like that, and then I'm such a huge choir nerd, so I kind of use that as well. Like I can go name off like Ola Jello is one of the composers that I love. Eric Whitaker is amazing. But being able to use my voice in those different ways and being able to stretch myself in a bunch of different ways. And then you think of people like Hosier, you think of people like Teddy Swims. I really love how Teddy Swims uses his voice, how he can mend his style to multiple different styles of music. And then a guy that I really like too is, his name is Jamal. He just won American Idol.
Okay.
But the way that he sings just brings you in, and he's singing about something real. And so I would say I would mostly say that Lizzie and Noah Kahan are some of my influences as far as the style of music that I like to play and the style of music that I like to put out. But in general, I listen to a wide variety, whether it be all of those things. I was just listening to Bad Bunny today, or like Mark Anthony today, and like it's all over the place. I listen to some metalcore sometimes. Like it's insane.
Can you act?
Can I act? No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I've never tried it. For now.
Yeah,
I would love to do a little
enthusiasm.
Broadway stint. I would love to do a little Broadway stint when it's all said and done, but not for the acting, just for the singing. I love Broadway.
Yeah, so, okay, let's say you play in the NFL another 10, 12 years. You have the dream NFL career, right? You win the Super Bowl, Pro Bowls, all this great stuff. You want to be a recording artist when it's done?
I don't know. I've never been super drawn to being a recording artist, but with some of the stuff that I was able to do on The Masked Singer, it was like I have a story to tell, and I have music to be able to put out there. And so that whole piece is from more of an authentic light. I always viewed myself as being a high school choir director when it was all said and done, because my high school choir director, Miss Lynn Levine Babcock, made the biggest impact on my life and honestly saved me. Like, there's so many things that I was going through in high school, and music was my outlet, and she was the one that brought that to me. She actually officiated our wedding as well, so that was super cool.
You just got married, right?
Yeah, I just got married.
Congratulations.
3 months ago.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was a super cool moment. So I really want to be able to give the gift of music, the outlet that music is, back to kids in a sense, where in a time where they can really use it, where they can turn it and use it to be an outlet for their emotions, use it to be able to get through life and all of these different things, and really to have that be as important as it was for me to be able to give them that opportunity.
It sounded too also when you mentioned like Masked Singer and not as interested in the recording music. Sounds like the performance element, it matters a lot to you as well, like doing it in front of people, that direct connection.
Yeah, it means a lot. And I think whether it be the performing aspect, whether it be, I've been able to find a couple of jam sessions. We got connected with Alex Iono and AJ Raphael, which were people that I had watched their YouTube videos back when I was a kid. And to just be able to come into a space that's welcoming and to be able to share music and to just be a part of that collective experience is really something that draws me in. And so that performance aspect, that communal aspect as well, was super important to me.
Kobie Turner, Rams defensive tackle, Masked Singer, and too many good things to list. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having
me.
Appreciate you.
All right, so Quentin Lake is going to close the show for us coming up here in just a little bit. It's been a great night here.